Hey everybody, Alex Gazor, SteelersDepot.com, back to do another video, another talk to the tape, and yep, we're talking special teams, we're talking Danny Smith, because it's one of my favorite topics, and with this team struggling, at least I'm going to get some enjoyment about breaking this one down. But if there was one unit that played well Sunday night against Baltimore, it was special teams. Certainly was not the defense or the offense, so let's shine a little light on the special teams unit. And I love talking scheme. I don't give Danny Smith the credit for every positive thing that happens on special teams. When Chris Boswell makes a field goal, or Matthew Thomas had a great kick coverage play in this game, we're not going to show. That's not really on him. It's more on the individual, of course. But when you look at the schematics, again, I've harped on it a lot, but his ability to scheme and get pressure and create chaos, I think, is impressive. And so that's what I wanted to look at today, just to remind people that how close his team has been to some of these pump blocks. And that's where we're going to start here. And this is very common from Danny Smith. Think of him like a defensive coordinator, basically running a fire X blitz, where you're just trying to screw up two guys on this play, the long snapper and the up back / personal protector, however you want to call them. And if you get these guys mixed up and their wires crossed, you got a great chance for a pump block. That's what happens here. So let's run this thing through just full one time. Ends up being a hold by the up back, Anthony Levine, which actually was a brilliant play by him, because if he does not hold DHB, and this is a pump block, it's a 14-6 game, and who knows what happens from there. Obviously the Steelers did tie the game up at 14 heading into halftime, but this would have been a really big kind of momentum changing type of play. But go pre-snap here. Looks very basic, 4 to each side. Looks like, okay, these 4 here from the long snapper to the left going to block these 4. These 4, the 3 on the line, the up back, are going to block these 4. Should be pretty simple, right? Well, that's where the stunt comes in. And again, if you could just screw up the one, or both, but one of the long snapper or the personal protector, you're going to win. You're going to get some pressure. So you get Tyler Matakevich. He's going to slant into the A gap here behind the long snapper. DHB is going to loop over the top into basically the A gap here, and the wires are going to get crossed. So you're going to get the left side like they were planning to, sliding down. Initially, this right side was going to slide down. Levine sees the stunt. He wants to try to squeeze this interior for Matakevich. But the long snapper also is going to the left, so now you got 5 guys here going to the left with only 3 on this side. And now you're rushing the extra guy into the free gap here. So the Ravens now, even though it looked like they had numbers, now are down a guy. They don't have enough guys to block this side because Levine had to pick up Matakevich, and the long snapper slid down and didn't take Matakevich for Levine to cleanly pick up DHB. So that lets DHB through. Levine just throws him away. He tries to seal him enough, which was a good play by him, so he can just drag DHB down. Drags him down. DHB unfortunately gets hurt on this play with his, I think, foot or ankle injury that has him questionable as of this recording for Atlanta. But again, this is how close it was, and the camera gets in the way a little bit with DHB just literally being tackled. And so obviously, if DHB gets in free or just isn't held, he could just run through it if Levine doesn't drag him down. That's an easy pump block, 100%, no doubt about it. And that's probably going to be a touchdown for Terrell Edmonds, who's coming in free here at the end to scoop and score this one. So I'll run it through again. Just very simple stuff, like a fire X stunt. Picture and pretend that these guys were both inside linebackers. They were Vince Williams and John Bostic. They switch A gaps. Change their assignment. The line can't pick it up. Pretend like this is a center and this is the guard. And if they get on the wrong page, as we've seen so many times before, you're getting pressure, and that's schemed up. Doesn't take a lot. Doesn't have to be super crazy. You want it to be fast. You don't want these insane kind of schemes and blitzes, because you only have so much time to get home and for everything to work correctly. But it did on this play, screwed the Ravens up. It should have been a pump block, and the holding call forced the Ravens to prevent it. So, again, that's some individual execution, of course, but also big credit there to Danny Smith for scheming that up. Like I said before, I know I've harped on it a ton, but I love talking about it. I don't think there's a special team coordinator in football who schemes up punt pressure better than Danny Smith. Let's look at 2 kickoff plays. That's going to be the rest of this video. Kickoff coverage as well. Again, we're looking field position. With the new kickoff rules, it kind of presents an opportunity for teams to try to pin offenses inside the 25 instead of just doing the auto touchback every time. That's what you're going to get here. So I'll run this thing kind of full one time. And again, to just kind of run little stunts, and you get these stunts in space, and it screws up the blocking scheme. For the return team. It doesn't take much. And what we're going to be focusing on here is a couple factors, but here's, I believe, LJ Fort, who's going to make the tackle. Coming on this side is what you want to call him, L4, I think you call him L4 there, or L2, depending on how you count it. But he's going to end up coming over to the other side. Now you got 5 or an extra guy to this side, I should say. What would that be? That'd be 6 to that side. You're gonna get a stunt here. You can call it, I don't know exactly what the term would be, but I call it a stunt. Where you're gonna get 2 guys trading gaps here, Chicolo, and I think that's maybe Matakevich. But again, we're just stressing the blocking scheme. So you're gonna get this stunt here. You get maybe this was intentional, but they have double teaming Matakevich and letting Chicolo come free to the next level. Now they're trying to communicate here, this guy and this guy, trying to pass it off. He's pointing here, trying to tell him who to pick up, but he's late picking up Fort. That's the free man, that's the extra man that this side of the scheme has to suddenly account for. He's free. Fort does a nice job. You get basically 2-on-1. You got Edmonds, you got Fort against the fullback here, and he takes one guy. Fort comes in free, makes a tackle at like the 23 or 24, so only a net gain as opposed to the touchback of 1 yard or 1 or 2 yards, but still. Actually, no, it is a 24. I'm sorry, I'm getting my math wrong, but still a great scheme, and you get free guys coming down the kick team like that. You're gonna have a high degree of success. And again, that's partly scheme, that's partly execution, but just adding those wrinkles. So it's not just all 10 guys rushing straight down, staying in their gap, and it's very easy to kind of block that because you know, if you're the return team, where everybody's at. When you add these wrinkles, and you're stressing the blocking scheme, just like you would stress an offensive line with different stunts and one gapping and things like that, you can create some chaos and get guys free, and that's what happens here with LJ Fort. Okay, last one. We're going to go through the last kickoff because the Steelers did not score, unfortunately, in the second half. Again, we're going to get similar ideas, getting free guys, free Steelers coming in. That's what we're looking for. We're going to focus here on this side with Anthony Chicolo. Right here, these two, I believe these two players, no, these two right here, Chicolo, and I'm not 100% sure who that is. But you're going to get another stunt there. Looks like Jordan Dangerfield. So you're going to get just changing lanes here for Chicolo and Dangerfield, just to screw up the blockers. These two blockers are thinking, okay, I got this guy, it's Dangerfield. This blocker thinks I got Chicolo. Okay, we'll block it straight up, you know, and we'll be fine. But now they're going to change gaps. Dangerfield's going to come in. Chicolo's going to loop over the top, just like 2 linebackers blitzing. And now you get a double team where they didn't want to double team. Both guys on Dangerfield. Chicolo free. And, you know, the rest of it's decently blocked. I mean, you get a couple free guys here, but let's just say hypothetically Chicolo was blocked. There's a pretty decent lane here on the left side for the return guy here. I think that's Grant or White or whichever it is. And, you know, you're getting a healthy return. You're probably getting at least to the 25, but you could take this out to the 30 and, you know, get these guys in space. Who knows what happens. So Chicolo comes in free, cleans it up, tackles to the 23. You get 2 extra yards to work with as opposed to the touchback. So again, it doesn't take a lot. You're just trying to create a little bit of chaos. You're forcing these Ravens blockers to communicate on the fly, to have to digest and understand this little twist at the last second. They don't do it well. It's hard to communicate. It's hard to pass off. Don't get a ton of reps to deal with it. So you're just adding that little wrinkle. And if you get some free defenders coming down, then your coverage unit's going to be normally excellent. You're not going to allow big plays. You're going to be able to create big plays yourself. We've seen this coverage team, I think, do a really nice job of creating some impact plays and flipping the field. And I got a train coming, because of course I got a train coming. So we're going to have to plow through that. This video is almost over anyway. So one more look at it, and then we'll get out of here. Never can do these videos without the train coming in. That's how it always goes. But Chicolo free, makes a tackle. So, again, you're looking scheme, you're looking execution. All kind of adds up to, I think, a solid day for the special teams unit. Jordan Berry might have definitely, you know, had some struggles. Maybe not as bad as kind of my first thought coming out of the game. But that's why I think Danny Smith should stay around. And I make these videos because, you know, I've criticized coaching some. I think Danny Smith has his faults, and I've been very clear and blunt about the problems Danny Smith has had before with some of the field goal protection stuff and some of the miscues they've had in general, some of the penalties, illegal formations that I think falls back on coaching as a reflection of coaching. But you know, I think that there's a lot more to special teams than just how many field goals did you make, what was your punt average, what was your return average. That's really important, obviously. But I think in terms of coaching, what's the coaching influence, it's a lot more than just that. And you can't just look at some of those numbers and make that as a one-to-one reflection on the coaching. You have to really look at the tape, especially for special teams, because TV tape is such a terrible way to try to watch special teams. You don't get good angles ever, obviously. And so, unless something big happens, like a pump block, you would have gotten a good angle on that, but it didn't happen, so who cares? So that's why I take a really extra focus on special teams. It's a lot of fun to watch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below, whether you're watching on YouTube, Steelers Depot, or follow me on Twitter at Alex_Kazor. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.